Now on the BBC World Service, our history programme Witness, with me, Alex Last. And today we go back 50 years to April 1966, when Jamaica was brought to a standstill by the arrival of the Ethiopian Emperor Haile Selassie. It was his first and only visit to the birthplace of the Rastafarian movement, which revered him. In 2013, I spoke to two people who remembered his historic arrival. It's the 21st of April 1966, and in Kingston, Jamaica, people are getting ready for a very special visit.
From all different angles all over Jamaica and all the way to the airport, the streets are lined with people and carked with people coming in by train, bus, motor car, truck, bicycle, and thousands, hundreds of thousands maybe, walking.
People of the Rastafarian cult were gathering, drum beating, ganja smoking, dressed in all their regalia. Their hair grew long. They were all dressed with their scarves and colors of red, green, and gold, with carrying big banners welcoming His Imperial Majesty.
His Imperial Majesty, Haile Selassie, was the Emperor of Ethiopia. But before he took the throne in 1930, he was known by his aristocratic title, Ras, meaning Prince, Tafari. A leader of an African nation in an era of colonialism, Rastafari was adopted as an icon by a new spiritual movement thousands of miles away in Jamaica. For many Rastafarians, Haile Selassie was divine, the Messiah. For others, he represented something else. Robin Jerry Small, also known as Bongo Jerry, was a teenage Rasta when Haile Selassie visited.
This is a person who, as far as I'm concerned, was rallying the African people internationally, wherever they were, to take back their place, their rightful place. When others want to create up their own doctrine and dogma, that Haile Selassie is the creator of heaven and earth, this is not the teaching of Haile Selassie himself.
But in 1960s Jamaica, the Rasta movement was looked on with suspicion by the authorities. Franklin Chappie St. Just, not a Rasta himself, was at the time a cameraman on The Lion of Judah, a film about Haile Selassie's visit made for the Jamaica Information Service.
It's a subculture that feels somewhat persecuted, and everybody thought in those days that Rastas were just ganja smoking, drum beating, disheveled type people. But they were really very industrious types. It's just that they weren't allowed to be assimilated into the society.
The political establishment was on tenterhooks. This was the first time the people of Jamaica got to appreciate what numerical support Rastafari had.
Back at the airport, the anticipation was growing.
About 250,000 people ended up at the airport itself. Most of them are Rastafari, and many ordinary Jamaicans, but it was a spectacular scene. The airport was crammed. Rain, clouds gathered, and it actually started to rain very heavily, but not for long.
And something strange happened, because as soon as the plane came out of the clouds, the sun broke out, and there was immediately a roar, unlike I've never heard before, a roar from all the people, because they considered that a sign.
It was a propeller plane, a DC-6, and it landed. There was a kind of spectacular flight of birds over. You know, a lot of things that people would deem miraculous are very symbolic. Most of the crowd jumped over the railing of the waving gallery, and one person ran out onto the runway with an Ethiopian flag in his hand. And after that, a torrent of people.
All of a sudden, I saw a massive crowd of people coming towards me, and they all converged onto the tarmac, heading to the plane. And I was just literally swept along.
By the time the plane came to a standstill, there were thousands of us surrounding the plane, and especially the steps of the ramp. Matter of fact, there were several people there with chillum pipes, several big pipes, lighting the pipes under the plane with the aircraft fuel, all kind of things. Dangerous situation.
His Imperial Majesty took some time to come out because nobody knew what to do, because the crowd had converged right around the plane.
Everybody was jumping and was shaking their body line.
They wanted the crowd to disperse before they opened the doors. Well, the crowd would not disperse. The most prominent Rastafari leader, Mortimer Planner, would come and ask the crowd through a loud hailer to part. Then a few minutes later, the emperor emerged in the door of the plane quite dramatically.
All Babylon trembled to look at our father's face.
He was dressed in his military uniform. To me, at the bottom of the stairway to the aircraft, he looked rather timid, of small stature, not with that commanding presence, that you would expect. And I thought that he looked maybe scared that all of these people, because he'd never seen so many people come to an aircraft so close to him.
It was claimed by Babylon that he was afraid of the people, but he was overcome by emotion and tears were streaming down his face for several minutes, being struck by the enthusiasm and devotion of these people, which he had heard of a long time, but he's coming to witness it for the first time.
Were you overcome with emotion?
Not to tears.
How did you feel, though?
Well, it's great enthusiasm and relief that he is here to smash the propaganda that had been spread, that he had no desire to be associated with his supporters in Jamaica. I knew it was not so, but I was a relief that at last it was being diffused by his presence and by his emotion.
Our father wept.
Once out of the airport, the 3-day state visit went ahead with the usual official functions and receptions, though watched throughout by huge crowds. And when it was over, for some, its impact could still be felt and heard, not least in Jamaican music. Now, each year, Rastafari celebrate the day when Haile Selassie arrived in Jamaica.
Take your troubles to Selassie.
What was your reaction to all of this?
I looked at him as a somewhat ordinary person. He did not have any sort of aura surrounding him or anything like that. What really happened was the reaction to his visit that was so, well, to use a word, exciting.
It made Rastafari teachings and association far more attractive to the Jamaican people who were very dissatisfied with the status quo. And eventually it became the heart of the youth movement. I was greatly gratified by his visit, by the acknowledgement of Haile Selassie, of the propriety of the Rastafari sentiment.
Robin Jerry Small went on to be a poet, historian and talk show host. Franklin St. Just became a cinematographer, the cult Jimmy Cliff film The Harder They Come among his credits. Both still live in Kingston, Jamaica. You've been listening to Witness with me, Alex Last. For more of our history programmes, just search for BBC Witness.